Facebook, what's going on? This ferocious Mgtow. I said I was gonna start giving you guys more content. Really just me driving and just talking, because I'm sure most men in this country, and as far as that goes, probably in the most Western countries, we all grew up under the feminist virus. So our moms, grandmamas, sisters, aunts, everybody, girlfriends, wives, ex-wives, everybody's been infected with this virus. So I figure if I just come on here and just talk, I'm sure things are just gonna flow from out of my spirit, and I'm sure you guys will be able to connect with it, because we pretty much all go through similar, or similar things. We all go through similar things. Well, I wanted to cover this space. I saw I hadn't really checked into the video. Just the title alone made me think of some things, and the title was on the video that I saw earlier. The title was Son Husbands, and I didn't even look at the video. Just the title alone just said, well, it screamed at me. And what I took from that is, I think we all at some point, especially if you grew up with a single mother, was a son husband. I know for a fact I was. As I was coming up, I really didn't get a chance to enjoy my childhood. Now I did have some good times where I was able to enjoy it, but I wasn't able to enjoy it fully because I had to be a son husband. I had to wash dishes, I had to mop the floor, clean the bathroom, wash clothes. Now keep in mind, wasn't no washer and dryer inside the home. The laundromat must have been about 5 blocks away. So I used to get the clothes, my mother would get the clothes together, put them in a basket, and I would take them up those 5 blocks to the laundromat, and I would wash, separate them, wash them, fold them, and bring them back. Didn't even get so much as a, well, thank you, son, or, here's, $2, here's $3, here's something, nothing. Just, this is what you're supposed to do as a son husband. Same thing with dishes. It was a given that once I got old enough that I had to wash the dishes. There was no question. So I washed the dishes. Same thing with cleaning my room, cleaning the living room, dusting. I used to know how to dust with the pledge, dust all the furniture, sweep, mop, put the groceries up. Then it got to the point where it got so bad where I had to cook. My mother, she was a drinker, so she would go out and get slosh, and my brothers and sisters would be hungry. We'd all be hungry. And so I had to take it upon myself, being a son husband, that I couldn't let my siblings starve, so I learned how to cook. And I basically learned from 2 ways: watching and observing my mother cook, and then the other is just asking her when she was cooking what seasoning was she using, depending on what recipe she was preparing. I would ask what seasonings and just kind of observe her, and because of that I got pretty good at cooking. So on days that she would go out and get sloshed, I cooked. Now I know you may ask, well, where was my dad, right? Well, my dad was I guess back then when the feminism was coming in, I can only imagine, because I didn't really get this from him, but when I just go back in my mind and I just reflect, I think when feminism was really coming in big time, it was during his era. And the men kind of just took on this mean, just downright mean spirit, where they will, you know, fight women, hit women, cuss them out, throw them down steps, all kind of stuff. He didn't necessarily do that to my mom, but the fact that mean spiritedness, because they probably didn't know how to, you know, deal with the fact that the women were basically taking over. So he was mostly like a street guy, and he was really good at pool. He was basically a pool shark. And the way the story was told to me, because of course I wasn't there, that he went out and he would play like he couldn't play for a few games, and people would notice that he couldn't play or whatever. And then when he get them to start betting, he would just kind of win one, lose one, you know, win one, lose two. He would win one, lose three, and then he'd get the bets up really high. Then he would just run the table, right? And then the guys would want to, you know, double or nothing. He would just run the table. And so he was really good at this. So this one particular day, some guys was there and he ran the table on them, and they decided that they were going to take their money back. So he always carried a knife or something, and so the guys basically followed him outside when he got ready to leave, and they tried to take the money back in a nearby, you know, alley. So he pulls the knife out, and he basically ginsues both of them. One of them was in critical, and the other one died. So, you know, everybody know who done it, because the pool hall was full of people, so everybody know who done it. So he pretty much had to turn himself in. And then I don't know exactly if he had to take a plea deal or did he get found guilty. I never did get the story, but I know he was gone for about maybe 10 to 12 years of my life. So I think I was born while he was in there. And I didn't see him the first time I had seen him because my mother and my grandmother took me to the penitentiary to see him. I might have been about 7, something like that, 7 or 8. And then that was the first time I had seen him in person. And then he got out, I think I might have been 12, something like that. And then he ended up dying maybe a year later from basically a freak accident. So I only really got a year to spend with him, and so that's why he wasn't in my life. So it was basically just my mother. But while he was gone, of course, you know, my mother being young at the time, I think she had me when she was 16, and I kind of, you know, made her drop out of school, and then that kind of spiraled her onto drinking, and then she just started meeting other men and having other babies, even though her and my father were married when he went to jail. She still had, you know, 2-3 kids while he was in there. But that's just that's just a side note. But anyway, he wasn't in my life, so it was basically my mother. So I had to basically become the son husband. Then it got to a point where she would drink and get mad at me, and I think she would get mad at me because of 2 reasons. One, I think, is because, you know, I was the one who gave her those stretch marks. I was the one who made her drop out of school at 16. And then 2, you know, my dad was a mean guy. He never hit her, but he was really mean. And I think because I started looking like him, you know, as far as facial features, skin tone, height, build, everything. I mean, I'm a splitting image of my dad. Height, even with the same height, you know, 6'1", 6'2", same build, you know, stocky, wide, you know, muscular build, you know, everything is about the same. So I guess she would see me after she didn't, you know, have some drinks in her, and she would, I guess, mistake me for my dad or whatever. If we would get into it, and she would just pick up the first thing she could find and throw it at me. So I remember one day we were arguing about the dishes or something, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna get to the dishes. But the reason why I hadn't washed the dishes is because I had homework. You know, I had mega homework, and I was trying to knock the homework out, and then I was gonna knock the dishes out. But when she came in from drinking and the dishes wasn't done, and I tried to explain to her that I was gonna take care of it, before I could really get the explanation out. And back then, you know, we didn't have these plastic containers for all the liquids, pops and things, and soda. So we only had glass bottles for soda and pop. And it was an empty one on the table. She just picked it up, and before I knew it, cause I kind of like looked away or blinked or something, and before I knew it, the bottle was coming. I couldn't dodge or nothing, so I kind of leaned forward, which means I leaned into it, and it literally hit my forehead and burst into a million pieces. I thought she had shot me. I didn't even know what was going on. But at that point, I got to the point where I was like, boy, when I get big, she is gonna have a hell of a time with me. I can't wait until I get big, you know. Of course, she semi-apologized for it, but not really. And then she was the type of drinker where if she drank really heavy, she's not gonna remember nothing the next day. So if you tell her, hey, you stabbed me yesterday, and she'll be like, I ain't stabbed you. You must have fell on a knife or something. You know, she would not remember nothing, right? And I said, you know, I vowed to myself, I said, you know what? When I get older, my mother is not going to be able to tell me nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. So, about maybe 15 or so is when that day came. I can't remember what sparked it. I don't know, it's something, but I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that she, you know, she had some drinks in her. I don't know if she said something to me that ticked me off or something, but at that point, I actually decided it's time to get a divorce. And I mean by any means necessary, you know, to quote my brother Malcolm. So, I had a job at McDonald's, and so I called around, and one of my friends had a place, got his own place. He was a few years older than me. I might have been right at going on 16, and he was maybe 18. I think he was a couple years older than me, and he worked security. And so I talked to him and told him, hey man, I got to get out of here. And he's like, all right, cool. You know, come over here, you got a job. So my uncle owns the building, so I'm renting from my uncle. You pay half the rent and half the utilities. You know, you're working, you can stay here. Man, that was like, it was like music to my ears. So I waited till she went out on a nice bender, and she came in drunk that night. So I just politely had all my stuff hid in the closet, and I tiptoed out, moved in with my friend, and I literally stayed gone for 2 months. She didn't know where I was at. And back then, you know, they wouldn't put no, they wouldn't call the police and, you know, say your child ran away. You know, if you didn't come, you just didn't come. So she didn't know where I was at. I mean, I literally did not come back for 2 whole months. So right now, she probably will be in jail for that, because I was only 15, maybe 15 3/4, going on 16. So I came back after 2 months because I started feeling guilty. I was really missing my siblings, my sister and my brother. So I wanted to go and see how they were doing. So I had to go back. I went back, and so she gonna say, oh, so you gonna move out? You moved out, huh? I'm like, yeah. She said, well, you might well get your stuff and move back in, because you're too young, blah, 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 you know. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, I didn't argue. I just agreed with her. And I saw my siblings, hugged them, talked to them for a minute, made sure they was cool. And then when I walked back out, supposedly, quote unquote, to go get my stuff, I stayed gone 6 months. I came back after 6 months. It was summertime when I came back. You know, now I'm 16. I didn't grow about a foot. My muscles done got big because my buddy had weights over there, so I done got a little bigger. Plus I growed about a foot. So now when I go back after that 6 month period, she was like, hey, well, I see you moved out, you know, it is what it is, right? So she said, well, at least you can come back and visit. So I'm like, hey, cool. Man, that was the most, it felt like, to hear her say, yeah, you know, you moved out finally, okay, well, fine, you know, just come back and visit. When she said that, it was like the whole world was lifted off my shoulders. I actually felt free. So I could just imagine, and keep in mind, this was back in the, I want to say this was in the 80s. Early 80s I did this. So I imagine what the kids and the boys are going through now. I could just imagine, okay? But I would say, man, these young guys, if any young guys get a hold of my videos, I would say look into as much red pill philosophy as you can from various different guys. I don't get into the whole, you know, back and forth about this guy said that, this guy said that, this guy. As far as I'm concerned, we all got our experiences, so they all are valid. You know, I'm gonna take what I need from certain guys, and once they get into the gray area, you know, politics, religion, racism, you know, all that kind of stuff I kind of stay away from, you know. But other than that, everybody has something to contribute, because we all are bombarded by the same feminist crap. So that's kind of like what I want to talk about, guys. I'm sure a lot of guys can relate. Some of y'all it may be y'all father that was the drinker or the drug user. In my case, it was my mother, and her drug of choice was alcohol. And even to this day, now I'm in my mid-50s. You know, this woman still drinks to this day, and I can't stand it. I don't even, you know, like if she, one thing about her, she do know how I feel. So if she's drinking, she won't call me. Or if I call over there and say, hey, look, I'm in the area, I'm gonna come by and just hang out and visit with you. If she's been drinking, I'm gonna be able to tell from the way she answers the phone, the way she say hello, I know if she's been drinking or not. That's how well I know this woman. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I see you, you're partying today. Never mind, I'll talk to you another day, and I'll hang up. I don't even give her a chance to respond. And when I'm around her, and if somebody comes around with alcohol, I immediately, you know, start, you know, going at that person. Hey, look, why you got to come over here with this alcohol? You know what I mean? You know this woman can, and I be talking right in front of her, and she be like, you can't be talking for me. I'm the mama. I said, mama, you the mama, but I'm a grown man. I say whatever I want to say. So I don't view her in that light. It's more like a big sister, little brother type of relationships, where the little brother is a big man now, and I ain't taking no shit. So it's a whole different dynamic now. And of course, she makes me out to be the bad guy because I'm so stern. I'm so stern with her now, you know. Like now, I don't even really talk to her much because she didn't retire from work. And so I told her, like, you know, you don't have any hobbies. You don't like getting on planes, so it ain't gonna be that much traveling you're gonna do. She never got a driver's license, so she don't drive. I said, you're just gonna sit in this house and you're gonna go crazy. I said, you're gonna probably pick, excuse me, you're probably gonna pick drinking back up as your hobby. Which means you're gonna ruin your health, because at least when she was working, she wouldn't drink because she knows she had to work. So actually work was a good thing because it stopped her from drinking so much. But now that she's not working any longer, now every little reason is a reason for her to run to the bottle, okay? So I don't know. I said what I was gonna do is, since it looks like she's gonna take drinking back up as a habit, I went out and took out some more insurance on her. So she already had a couple policies for about $50,000, where I'm the beneficiary, main beneficiary on those policies. So I went out and took out 25 more thousand on her and her husband, because she got recently remarried, which dude is a straight cook. But you know, hey, I'm glad he there, because he pick up the slack. He makes sure, you know, when she do get to drinking, because he doesn't drink anymore. He used to drink. They used to drink together for years, but he stopped because his heart got bad. So he's there to watch her, and, you know, watch over her when she's drinking. So I really appreciate him, even though he pretty much does everything she wants. They argue all day long, but hey, whatever works, as far as I'm concerned, it keeps me from having to be there, because I'm on the road, you know, 90% of the time anyway. So yeah, so that's just kind of my story, and I'm sure you guys got similar stories. Either these stories are with your dad or they with your mom. But just to show you guys that, you know, we all pretty much, you know, experience the same things. But I would say the minute you're old enough, get out on your own, develop one kick-ass work ethic, work habits, and go out here and forge ahead and carve out a path for yourself, because that's gonna afford you a lot of freedom. Because when I did it, I worked at McDonald's, and that afforded me a lot of freedom. And I have that work ethic up to this point. And even now, I'm an owner-operator, and I'm signed on, leased on with a company. And I'm one of the main guys in my company because, one, no wife. Yes, I do have a girlfriend, but my girlfriend is in Africa. I only date foreign. My thing is, if I do marry again, it's going to be over there, and I'm not bringing her here. My plan is to scale back my hours where I can go there and spend 2-3 days, 2-3 months, and then fly back, make my money, fly back over there for 2-3 months, and just keep doing that till I'm ready to retire. I figure I can work another 15 years. So that works for me. In the meantime, when I'm over here, I'm celibate. I don't even speak to women. You know, they be trying to get my attention, I guess, because, you know, I fit that tall, dark, and handsome stereotype. I'm 6'2", 240, solid, because I go to the gym almost every day. I've been working out over 35 years. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't eat meat. I've been a vegan/vegetarian for 13 years. So I get a lot of choosing signals, but I pretend like I don't see them, because you ain't gonna, you know, I guess they say, what they say, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you. However they say that shit. Y'all know how it go. You ain't gonna get me no more. So I stay away from them, because they too entitled. They got too much testosterone. I can't handle it. I talk to my African girlfriend, man. It's like her femininity is just a breath of fresh air. I mean, just, man, she called me master. Yes, master. You know, and she asked me, can I go here? Can I go there? You know, and I say yes or no, but mostly I say no. And then she be like, okay. She don't even ask me why I say no. The fact that I said no is all she need to know. So I'm definitely down with the passport game, guys. Get your passports and save your money up. And I would say take 2 good trips a year, and spread it around. Go to, you know, we can go to South America, we could go to Africa, we could go to South Pacific. We got places we can go, but you gotta have a good work ethic. You gotta save, keep your expenses low. I would prefer guys get off into the trucking business because you don't have to deal with women in this business. You really don't. I rarely have to deal with them. The only time I really have to deal with any women if they are shipping and receiving clerks at any of the companies that we deliver to, or when I go to the truck stops. Some of the cashiers, of course, they're female, which, you know, that's a transactional relationship, so they got to be professional, and so I be professional. But outside of that, guys, I go to Walmart, maybe. I don't deal with women at all. I don't have to deal with them. And even when I go to Walmart, I used to go to the self-checkout. I don't go to the cashiers. I don't go to the cashiers, period. And most stores that don't have the self-checkout, I don't even go to. I only go to self-checkout places because the attitude and the disrespect from them cashiers is just off the chain. So I don't want to deal with that shit. Well, I don't supposed to be cussing. I don't want to deal with that stuff. So all right, guys, that's about what I got for today. I'm just gonna just start turning this sucker on and just start telling y'all about my life, because I'm 53, but I look like I'm 40 due to the fact, like I said, I've been working out over 35 years. Plus, I played a lot of sports. Plus, I've been doing the vegetarian thing for 13 years now. I stopped smoking 30 years ago. Let's see. Yeah, 30 years ago, 33 years to be exact. I stopped smoking when I was 19. Stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking. Haven't had a drink since I was 19. So I look really young. So I attract a lot of young women too. You know, I be seeing real young girls looking at me. I don't, you know, I guess they just like, you know, because I'm tall or whatever. But and even my girlfriend now, she's only 30, and I'm currently courting a 22-year-old from Africa. So when I take my next trip, go over there and see if I can, you know, seal the deal, because I just met her online, where my other African girlfriend, I met her when I was there over a year ago. So come on, guys, let's get our act together. I want to get my subscribers up, so please subscribe. I'm gonna start, you know, really bringing out my life, so, and because I'm doing things the right way now, pay my taxes, and, you know, I work extremely hard, work out extremely hard, you know, so I want to be able to share, and I think men need to share so we can grow together. I want to get my subscriber base up so I can monetize my channel, because I think once I get enough subscribers and I start monetizing my channel, I want to, with the help of you men, is put something together where I can do maybe some type of tourism business on the side, and so we can take trips together and just go and just ball out of control. So instead of just being just a small handful of us, why not groups of 50? How about we go to Brazil or Colombia or Thailand or you know, Hong Kong or even Africa. You know, I want to see that happen. There's a bunch of places we can go where there's still a lot of feminine women, and I think this is what we should be doing. And then from that, maybe get some hotels in all these different spots so we can start employing our own people, man. I think that's what's happened. So maybe get a tourism business, guys participate, and we go on trips together, and then eventually grow that money to get hotels in these different destinations. So now when guys want to leave America to debrief and to, you know, relax, you can come and do business with a federal Mgtow, and guys that want to check out of the matrix, we'll be able to provide jobs for younger Mgtows in these foreign destinations. I think that is what we should be doing. There's no reason why we can't do these things. It just takes somebody with a vision, and I think I'm that person with that vision, because I've been listening to a lot of brothers, and a lot of them are talking about traveling, but I don't really hear anything about setting up businesses where, you know, maybe we can provide employment. Because you go to these places, what I realize, unless you're gonna come over there with a lot of money, trying to become an expat in these countries is gonna be hard. So maybe that's something we can do. But I'm over 30 minutes now, guys, so let me jump off, and I'll revisit this topic a little bit later, and then maybe we can really like put our heads together. Y'all can help me get my subscribers up so we can do this, because I think we should be providing jobs for our own. And even here, you know, I got my trucking company, so I would like to be providing jobs for brothers here in the trucking business, because this is above average salaries, and then you don't have to be around women, and women don't have any control over this. So think about that, guys. Please subscribe, tell other people to subscribe to my channel so we can grow this thing, because I got some really big plans and I need you guys' help to pull it off. All right, peace, love you guys, and you know, stay positive, and I'll see you next time. Peace.